everybody! This is Sonnie coming at you from Fukuoka, Japan, and today we're going to talk about vlogging around the world. A friend of mine from Munich, Germany, had the idea to get a ton of different YouTubers and vloggers from all over the world and have us talk about our experiences when it comes to being a YouTuber and vlogging in all of these different countries. And I'm really excited to be involved with this. If you enjoy my video, definitely check out all the other videos from all the other YouTubers that are also going to be talking about their experiences. So let's start with just people's reactions and responses to seeing somebody holding up a camera and talking to it like a big weirdo, and those reactions in different countries, as well as people who are like behind you or potentially in the shot. When I first started vlogging, I was very self-conscious about it, and usually, and I typically still do this out in public, but I'll often look for a quiet location where my back can be towards a wall or something, and I don't have to worry about people getting in the shot, because myself personally, I wouldn't necessarily want to be videotaped on an everyday basis, or like if I'm just walking somewhere, I don't necessarily want to be put on the internet. So I tried very hard to respect that. But sometimes if you're walking down the street and you have to do a quick intro, there's going to be people behind you. And in Europe, I personally found that more people would like glance, do a double take to make sure that, yeah, they're in the shot, and then usually they would just kind of move out of the way. Sometimes you always got the person who like made a funny face behind you or threw up a peace sign or something like that, but in Europe, typically people didn't necessarily want to be in the shot and they would just kind of shift their direction and move out of the way. But in Korea and Japan specifically, I've noticed that people kind of make silly faces or bring attention to themselves in the background. And you know, some people absolutely still move out of the way. It's a mixed bag, but for the most part, I think more people here tend to be a little bit more comfortable with being on camera, and I think that's really interesting. And I do think it's interesting also from a cultural perspective, because in Japan, every cell phone disabled the ability to turn off the sound that it makes when you're taking a picture, because there have been a lot of incidents with men, you know, taking pictures of women without their consent and upskirt shots and things like that. So you can't disable that sound on any camera. Yeah, so you would think that maybe some women would be a little more like standoffish about it, but I'm also a woman, so that may impact. I would love to see if a man talks about this in Japan and has a different experience than I do. In Scotland, anytime that we were out and about and I was filming, it was usually in Edinburgh. And in Edinburgh, it's a very touristy city, so I don't think people were like not used to people having cameras, so it never really seemed to be a big deal. Here in Japan, everyone is going to stare at you because you're a foreigner, whether you have a camera and you're talking to it or not. So it doesn't really change the experience too much, to be totally honest. One place that really stood out to me when I was thinking about this topic was filming in Tobago. Now, this was like a while ago, and it was like my first real travel vlogs on my channel, I think. So I was still getting to know how to do everything and kind of getting used to it, and used to talking to my camera. And then also I didn't have a front-facing screen, so I couldn't see myself, so I rarely ever talked to the camera. I was just kind of filming. And in Tobago, people were really against being filmed. It was a bit odd because like I took a picture of this little shack on the beach that was selling different jewelry and stuff, but it was from far away. I just wanted the entire building in the shot because I thought it was really pretty looking, and I didn't know that there was a woman inside of it who saw me take the picture, and she came out with her hand in front of her face and she was like, "No pictures, delete the picture, no pictures." And that was how it was like everywhere. The people didn't want to be anywhere near a camera. They didn't want a camera facing them. I had to, whenever I wasn't using it, I would take the lens cap and make sure that it was on, or I would make it really clear that it wasn't pointing to them. Personally, I'm not a street photographer. I'm not the type of person that takes my camera and as I'm walking, just like in somebody's face, takes the picture. Like, I've never done that, and I personally would feel so uncomfortable if somebody suddenly had me as a subject of their photo. Like, I have mixed opinions on that type of photography. But literally, if I'm just panning and somebody's in it, they would have gotten kind of mad at me and would have said something about it. I don't know exactly why, if it was like a privacy thing, if it was a belief thing. Most of the island locals are very, very religious, and they also have a tendency to believe some of the things that other people from other places wouldn't necessarily believe. Like, they thought that the reason that the sea turtles no longer came to the island wasn't because they ate all of them, it was because the sea turtles could smell the blood of the other sea turtles and they stayed away. That's not how that works. So yeah, I don't know if it was a superstition thing, I don't know, but they really stood out as people that hated cameras. Hated cameras. As far as vlogging in restaurants, I feel uncomfortable in pretty much every like closed space where other people at other tables can just kind of watch as we're filming and as I'm talking to the camera and trying to concentrate and work and everything like that. So no matter where I am, I always feel hella awkward doing that. But in Japan, some of the like owners or the chefs really seem to appreciate when you take pictures of their food, when you videotape their food, anything like that. They seem to be really happy, especially if you're a foreigner, that you are appreciating their food and think that it's worth recording the event, which I think is really nice. Aside from individual people's reactions to someone vlogging out in public, one thing that I thought was really interesting is the different laws about being a YouTuber or an influencer or whatever you want to call it in Japan versus America or the EU. So I've actually never vlogged in America. I started my channel when I left America and I haven't been back, but I am aware of this law just by other people talking about it in other videos. The EU and America both states that if you're being sponsored, if you are basically creating an advertisement with your video for someone who is paying you to create a video about their hotel, about their restaurant, about their travel experience, about their city, or you know, anything like that, you're legally required to let your audience know that it is a sponsored video and that you are being paid to make it. And I think that's an important thing, because I think that consumers have a right to know if you're telling 100% the truth, because I will almost always have something positive to say about things, but if you're purposefully withholding negatives because you're getting paid, maybe people would read between the lines or understand that you are getting paid and then take that into consideration and take what you're saying with a grain of salt so that they can then do their own research. Because as a YouTuber and as somebody who puts myself out there and talks with everybody that watches me, I feel like it's very personal, and if people are trusting me and trusting my opinion, I want them to know that I'm being honest, and I still would be honest even if I was being sponsored. But once again, I think you should be transparent. Here in Japan, You don't have to be. A lot of people aren't, honestly. You are not legally required to say if a video is sponsored, if you got your hotel stay for free at this place, if you got your entire trip to a city for free because that city wanted more advertising, because they want more tourists to come there. You don't have to say any of that. And I think that's interesting. And I think that's something that people should keep in mind when they're watching Japanese YouTubers for sure. But know that if you ever watch my stuff, and if I do ever get a sponsorship, which I can't talk about ever getting one because I've never had one, but I will let you know if I do have one. As far as safety is concerned, my feelings of safety and the safety that I feel for my equipment, specifically my camera, when I'm vlogging out and about, I felt really, really safe in a lot of different places when I was vlogging. In Japan in particular, I never think twice about pulling out my camera and talking to it. And the thing that's different in Japan than in Europe is that I will sometimes, like, in Europe, I'll take my strap that goes around my neck and is connected, it's obviously longer there, I'll wrap it around my wrist when I am vlogging in Europe. But in Japan, I don't feel the need to do that because I feel so incredibly safe here. I don't have to worry about somebody snatching my camera and running, which was a concern that I had in different parts of Europe, namely like Athens and in different parts of Italy, and you know, places that you have to think twice about pickpocketers and your safety. There was a time in Thailand where I was vlogging and taking photographs all around, and this guy, he saw me and he complimented me and was like, "You should get in it and I'll take a picture of you." And I'm like, because I was like, is he gonna run away with my camera? But where he was like hanging out, it was in this area where I think it was his business or a friend's business or something, and I was like, I have travel insurance just in case he does run away. And like, maybe I'll find those pictures and I'll show them to you really fast, because I'm sitting up really straight and I am ready to chase after him, because in this moment I was alone, but I wanted to be a trusting individual, and that could have easily been my downfall. But in this case, it was totally fine. I gave him my beautiful camera that I love so much. I gave it to him and I let him take a couple of pictures of me, and then he handed it right back. And he was a very nice gentleman. I was nervous about that. But if it was in Japan, if it was a Japanese person here that was offering to take a picture of me, I probably wouldn't have been as nervous, to be honest, because it's so safe here, which is really, really nice. So those are the main things that I noticed as a YouTuber vlogging in all these different countries all over the world. It's been really interesting comparing and contrasting and thinking about all of these differences, and I really can't wait to see if other people have had the same experiences, if they say the same things as me, or if they've had different experiences. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about the countries that I haven't been to and what they're like. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit that thumbs up, and like I said, check out all the other vloggers who have participated in this as well. As I see their videos coming out, I'll try to continue to link them in the description box below, so that way it's nice and easy for you guys to find. If you are finding me for the first time and you like me, feel free to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. Thank you so much. And also comment below with your thoughts and opinions on whatever I've said. And if you have any experiences, it doesn't even have to be vlogging or taking pictures or anything, how you would react if someone was vlogging in front of you and you happen to be in the background. Comment below and let me know. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!